Hello everybody, welcome to 2025 as we get set for the Outer Limits Trail Run Series in a brand new year. My name is Minty, event announcer, and joining me is the man who is the race director, one of the founders, the legend that is Sam Stedman. Sam, happy 2025.
Thank you, Minty. 2025, here we go. Another big year for trail running. And look, there's just so much on the cards that we thought we would put it all into a podcast.
Well, you know, we can call it whatever you like. It's a podcast because it's going to go a little bit longer than what we would normally do when we sit down and chat on a pre-event basis and do our little event run through. So today we're going to take a look at the 2025 Outer Limits Trail Run Series. But before we do that, I want to celebrate what you guys have done over 13 odd years now to get to where we are, culminating in 24 with record fields at almost every single event. I mean, it's been an incredible journey for you guys, hasn't it?
Minty, look, I'd like to think we could say we've almost made it. But yes, this is our 13th year of the Trail Run Series.
Yeah.
Last year we had record numbers at sellout crowds at all the events. This year we're hoping, to back that up and continue the growth and the excitement around trail running. At the moment, running in general in the world is going crazy.
Absolutely, everywhere. And I mean, once we come off the back of COVID in particular, I think when people were locked up for such long periods of time, but for us in North Queensland, we were still able to get out and exercise. It's looking after yourself, it's having a run, and it's doing it with friends and family.
Yeah, that's right. And trail running in general is a family friendly, a great atmosphere where people help each other out. It's competitive, but it's the journey that it takes you on in different environments. We look at the pinnacle of the sport. Selling out the UTAs and the UTMBs events are getting thousands to there. I mean, Gold Coast Marathon is sold out in a week as a record.
It's insane.
And off the back of that, we're hoping down at that local level that more people are, starting their running journey or getting off the couch. And even if they're coming from park run or road running over to the trail running world. And, we want to give them some information today and get them excited about what lies ahead this year.
That is one thing that really stood out to me in particular last year when you talk about who comes along to these things. Everybody does. There are people there who have come from maybe doing park run or have never run before and just want to challenge themselves. But there are families. There are groups of mates who hang out together that run. There are gal pals that want to go and do something a little different. There are people who come from running groups and clubs. It's a whole different world because there's no one set box of person that goes and takes part in trail run.
All on the same start line. The kids beat mum and dad. We've got the pointy end of the field. We've got people just trying to make it to the finish line. Also enjoying the journey and having a great time. It's competitive yet fun and friendly, and that is why we do really enjoy. And as a business, there's so many opportunities for events, but our passion is in the bush, on the trails, and we'll continue to develop and grow and try and deliver the best events on the trails.
So that's where I want to sort of aim now. There's not a model as to fitness because everyone is doing it for a different reason. It's an own personal challenge. There are people who've come from park runs or just go on, runs around town on the flats. They can't rule themselves out, but how much more challenging is it to your fitness to do the trail runs? I mean, I've stood on the start finish line and talked into a microphone. I haven't done a run. I probably should do one. But from your perspective, what should people be ready for when they're doing trail runs?
It's a good question, Minty, and we do feel that a little bit. Am I fit enough? How hard is it? How hard is the Castle Hill 3K or 7K? And it's really challenging to put it into perspective because there's a lot of factors that come into that. The single trail, the elevation, the fire road, maybe some outside factors like the weather,
which is very unpredictable. I know last year's Castle Hill, it was wet, it was humid, it was hot. So you've got to be prepared for all those things.
That's right. So slippery underfoot, crazy hot. Now that makes it, in a harder scale, obviously a little bit harder. We are a competition, so the idea is that people get out there and do their best. But their best can be a 10-minute kilometre, as opposed to someone else's best is a 3 or 4 minute kilometre. And we do invite as many people to the trail runs without. It's not a walk. We're not out there all day. We do have a time limit, and we have volunteers, and we have things in place that we like to get everyone back as efficiently as possible. So they're out there to push themselves in the competition. without saying, sorry, you can't turn up. And that's a fine line. And to give people an idea, as we talk through the events today, and we'll talk about how hard and which one's the easiest and which one's the hardest to do. And I'll try and give a little bit of information around that. But ultimately, it's about getting out there and training, and having a pre-run. I mean, Castle Hill is in our backyard in our city,
Yes.
It is the perfect training ground for trail running, up and down the goat track, up and down the road, is very different to running out on the strand up and down the footpath.
100%.
You want to go do 3Ks on the flat as opposed to go and do the Castle Hill 3K. Well, it's probably more like 6Ks on the road. I hate using that analogy, but it sometimes, you say a distance in a trail is, twice or 3/4 of that distance on the road, to try and give people a bit of a rough idea. A lot of people are driven these days on time on Strava.
Yes,
And look, some legends have said recently that your body doesn't know distance. Your body knows time.
Yeah, right.
And so, it's time on your legs. How long is that going to take you to do?
Yes.
As opposed to how far actually is it? Because it can be a 6-minute kilometre and all of a sudden you're going uphill and it's a 10-minute kilometre.
Very different.
Then you're running down the hill.
Yes.
So, whereas if you're running on the road and all the factors are the same, then, it's very consistent. Trail running distance is very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So think about that time that your body is going to be, exerting itself, and particularly when it comes down to how much nutrition and how much water you need to take.
Yeah.
And just to touch on our mandatory equipment that we do have for all of the distances is for some of those reasons. Mostly comes into play around our risk assessment and our insurance
100%.
policies that we have on the event. And I can't say you should take 1 litre, 2 litres. It's more like, how long am I going to be out there for? How much do you normally drink?
Look, we always go through the mandatory gear that we expect for each event. But obviously, you've got to be taking care of yourself. You've got to understand what your body needs to keep it fueled for those distances. And we'll touch on that a little bit more. Just before we go any further, though, I want to come back a little bit, I guess, to the philosophy of what you guys have put together. And we kind of touched on the fact that, we want people to have a go. We want families, we want groups to do it. We are, I think, that starting block for people who are going to go on and do big events down the track. This is a series that is based in our backyard in North Queensland, so it's easy to access. It doesn't cost $1 million to participate. But on the other side of that too, we don't have finisher medals for everyone. We don't get a towel at the end of each thing because that costs money. So you've really sat and thought about the philosophy of what this series is and how it looks and runs, right?
Look, and we've tried to keep the same model all the way along. 13 years ago, the concept was to give people the opportunity to run the local trails.
Yes.
That back then, a lot of people didn't know they existed. They certainly weren't using them.
Yeah.
A lot of organisations, so National Parks and Council, were enthusiastic to get people using those trails.
Yeah.
Fast forward 13 years, the goal is to get people outdoors using those trails, and then now also to give them a stepping stone to potentially the UTAs and UTMBs.
Yes.
The pinnacle of trail running. So you've got that two sort of step. I mean, getting kids involved into the sport and getting families along, and all of a sudden they're looking at, oh, maybe I can do a 50 or a 30 or something and to travel away. And then the financial model is to keep the price down so that the families can afford it, and we can afford to do all 6, and it is local and it is good value, because we also appreciate all the support that the community gives us, and we try and give back to our runners the best we can. We're in a fortunate position with the business that we obviously run all these school camps.
Yeah.
And so the trail running series kind of robs a bit of the camps because we get to have the trailers and the cars and the warehouses.
Yeah, so a lot of the infrastructure is kind of locked together in the overall business.
So that we can still deliver a great value for money event. Now, if I'm to travel away, which I do enjoy competing in trail running myself, you'll very quickly pay 2 or 3 times the amount of something at our event.
100%.
Now, that's fine because they probably only deliver a handful of events, and they need to pay all of their costs.
Yes.
Yes, you're going to get a shirt, you're going to get a medal, and you might get a few more things, but the extra money that is tacked on. And we just don't see the value in charging people more money to then, get something that they can probably go and buy. Those events still exist, just not in our backyard. We don't see the best value in that. Our value is to give people.
But mate, the proof's in the pudding. Last year we had record numbers. We had more kids, we had more families, more people attending these events right across the series than ever before. I mean, we were selling out almost every single event. It means that people are getting in there. You can put the price up double, 3 times or whatever. We are in a bit of cost of living crisis. People are then going to go, oh, can I afford to do that? We want them to have a go. And that's what Outer Limits applies.
We want people to turn up in droves. And that's what also creates the atmosphere that then gives people, a great experience. And they come away going, wow, that was great. I had a really good time. Lots of people, really positive environment.
Yeah.
As opposed to going away and going, oh, well, I paid a fortune to be there and there wasn't a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And I've learnt that from attending, hundreds of events over the years. And we think we've got a great model. We're also very fortunate that in Townsville and North Queensland that we've got the great locations for trail running. Within reach, within Paluma, within Maggie Island, we duck down to Bowen. And each course offers such a diverse trail that, we think that the value is actually in the course.
Yes.
No matter what you put up the arch and the flag and you give a barbecue or something, but ultimately it's about the journey on that trail.
Correct.
And that's what we're selling.
And everyone that takes part raves about that. So let's talk about Series 2025. We kick off with a new event that was introduced last year, the GOAT, which is kind of like the preamble to the series. This year, February 21, Castle Hill. What is the GOAT?
In the new year, everyone goes and jumps on the Let's Go Get Fit bandwagon.
Yep.
And you see people going up and down the hill like a yo-yo. And I decided that it was time to really give people a goal to work towards and to challenge themselves a little bit more.
Yep.
Put themselves in the hurt locker and race just to the top of the hill.
Yeah.
It's a good, like you said, a preamble. It's a warm-up for the series, not only for what will be Castle Hill Run on that Sunday, 2 days later, but it sets a precedent for the rest of the year. We can see who's put the effort in.
Yes.
Maybe someone new has turned up. We'll see who's fast, who's exciting in the running world.
Yeah.
And also a few extras who are willing to put their hand up and dig deep because, it's 10, 12, 13 minutes to the top of the hill.
Yeah.
It's not so much about the fastest runner as about who really wants to hurt themselves the most to make it up those stairs.
Again, it's the challenge. We're going to have elite runners who are going to go up there super fast, but we're also going to have people who want to challenge themselves to see how quick can I get up this track.
That's right, and generally under a competition or competitive environment, it's going to be quicker than any other day of the week that you think you can put it on Strava.
100%.
So we have 20 males, 20 females, kids are included into those entries.
Yep.
So 20 of each, slightly different start times to allow a little bit of flexibility going up the stairs. What we do encourage is a big crowd at the top of the hill.
Yeah, that was so good last year.
Last year, amazing. To get people out cheering on trail running was the win.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to see is, trail running hopefully will be in the 2032 Olympics.
Yes.
And we'll be lining the trails down there in Brisbane or somewhere on the trails to watch trail running. And, for me, it's been a passion of mine for a long, long time, trail running. And it's not a spectator-friendly sport often.
Yeah.
So to give people the opportunity, particularly the runners and then the spectators, to cheer them on, this is a great opportunity and we thought we'd make the most of it.
Get on the website, find out more about that. All right, let's start with the first proper event of the series, as you said, on the Sunday. So it's February 23. The Castle Hill Trail Run is where we kick off. Points for the series in 2025.
Yeah, Minty. So let's, that is the first points series. Let's just talk about that for a second. And it's tricky because you got to stay in the same distance.
Yeah.
Now Castle Hill, and we were talking about how hard is it before, and we've got 3K, 7K and 10K. Now, yes, the 3 is a little bit short. The 7 is the premium distance and the 10 is certainly going to hurt.
Yep.
But if you're going to run 10 on Castle Hill, you're going to then run 20 at Alligator Creek.
Yes.
And you are in that distance and you have to do 4 events to qualify for the point series.
Yeah, gotcha.
Now last year we had a huge amount of people. It was amazing to see the people chasing the points all year. We had some winners on almost a 100% run throughout the year.
Yes.
Which was great. So people who are thinking about trying to do all of them, you can register for all of them at the same time. And when you go on to register, because they are all connected, if you register for one at Castle Hill, which is great,
Yep.
if you decide to do the next one, you need to log back into your account to then add Alligator Creek
Gotcha.
or Bowen to your account.
Gotcha.
And the information is written on the website, but a lot of people have trouble navigating that because, well, back in the day, you used to register for each run individually. And yes, you do pay for them, can pay for them individually.
Yes, but
the catch is you got to log back in from that email and that same information and just add that. So that way it adds to the same person. And in the past, we've even had like one person had their name in there 3 times with different spelling. And
yeah, gotcha. Okay.
it makes it very challenging. So it's important that you got the one person, the right name spelling, and that distance is also key to say that I'm doing that distance. So that you get it right and we add up your points and hopefully, we'll see you at the points presentation at the end of the year.
So of course, remember, you don't have to be going for a point series. You can go and do events as you choose. But if you do the correct amount of events, you are eligible for the series awards at the end of the season. So that's Castle Hill, nice and warm in February 23rd to start us off.
Correct. From Belgian Gardens State School, a big shout out to our friends there at BG. They do a great school camp with us and we're very appreciative that they open the gates for this event. They have great covered area because it tends to often rain around then. And we have council and our friends at Ozfield Services actually doing a great job. Already been on the phone today and the guys are out there clearing the trails.
How good's that?
Look, we will bring that up. People do often say to me, oh, the trails are overgrown. And you're kind of like, we live in North Queensland in the wet season.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally okay. And I promise you that they will be clear for the event. They'll actually be clear early to the point where if we get some rain, we might have to go and do it again.
You spend a fair bit of time. I've seen you in action and your team at all hours of days and nights leading up to events, finalising those tracks. You can't keep them pristine 52 weeks a year. It's just not possible. But you spend so much time. I mean, hats off to you guys for what you do to maintain the trails for these series and for people to use any other time.
Yeah, sometimes we've got to put our own hand up and say, let's go and do it.
Yep.
Thankfully for Castle Hill Run, we get the support in and so that they will be there. Obviously, some of the trails are still running okay. Some of them are definitely overgrown.
Yep.
But look, do your best. Also stay safe. Running overgrown trails is not safe for several reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
So try and avoid those, but they will be clear in the next week or so. And you can get back out there and prepare for Castle Hill. So BG State School, looking like it's going to be another sellout crowd.
Yep.
It is a tight technical trail. And obviously, in this time of year, it's going to be hot. So we just really want people to prepare for running in the heat. We're well prepared for it. And that trail is certainly going to be, we all know what the Castle Hill trails are like. Tight, technical and hilly.
All right, so then we're away. 13th of April, Elliott's Revenge Trail Run, Alligator Creek. Another fantastic setting and again, another challenge.
Things open up a little bit out at Alligator Creek and you can feel like there's a bit of flow to it.
Yep.
It's a great runner's trail run. Obviously, all these events are also designed within the weather or our seasons. So hopefully we don't get too much rain and we can cross the creeks out there.
Yep.
They get a little bit lower. It gives us also an opportunity to get the grass cut. Got to mow the lawns out there. And then so lovely flowing open fire road or access roads, but with one big hill in the middle. And then the everyone's favourite out there is the deep creek crossings. That cool you down, that are unique, that road runners really hate.
They're used to maybe a little bit of water in a gutter or a small pothole. This is not a small pothole or a gutter.
Your shoes are definitely going to get wet. So we do like it out there. It's a great space. It's a great trail, and not a lot of people regularly, go and use those trails. So it's great opportunity. National Parks have upgraded the trails over the years, and we really enjoy that. Enough space out there for large fields and for everyone to really get their run on.
Yep.
And the 21K in particular is just a nice long run.
Yeah, all right, let's move on. We're off to Maggie Island. May 24 is our 2 Bays trail run. And again, such a unique start and finish to this one.
Yeah, look, Maggie is just such a great spot for a trail run. The trails over there are excellent. We will be reverting back to, so last year we had to change the long distance.
Yes, yep.
And we had a bit of rock hopping involved. This year I can tell you that we'll go back to our original trail, so starting at the Maggie Island State School.
Yep.
Again, great friends over there, and thank you to them for opening up their school to us, and to the Arcadia Village Hotel. Literally lining the finish line with the kegs. Those guys are so great.
It's absolutely fantastic. I love a full pub as people are finishing a trail run series is just spectacular.
And the journey between the school and the pub, well, look, there's some pretty great trails, but so that long course is definitely going to go up and over the hill and down into Horseshoe Bay. National Parks have done a great job on upgrading the trail between Horseshoe Bay and Radical Bay.
Okay, great.
And they haven't just filled it with stairs. They have put in natural stone, great work on the trails. I ran them just the other day, and we love getting over there and running those trails as much as we can. But excellent views, great opportunity. We do get a few people travel up, like we talk about local, but destination events, going to Maggie Island for a holiday is a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
So look, we enjoy that one. Again, the 3 distances, keeping within the points. It's also the only run that we do on a Saturday afternoon.
Correct.
So, obviously, great atmosphere at the pub, and we do push the times, which has been a talking point over the years on why do we start so late. And again, it comes down to a family-orientated event. Often a lot of people have sport on a Saturday morning.
Gotcha.
And they can catch the latest ferry over the 2:15. We start at 3. And I don't mind the concept of chasing the daylight.
Absolutely.
It's going to get dark. We have a mandatory headlight. We have those opportunities. We have course cutoffs.
Yeah.
It also means that it gives us time to build the event, but also our volunteers aren't out there from lunchtime on the Saturday.
Yeah, 100%.
So they too, it's not only the competitors, but we need to get volunteers over there. We need to get them out onto the course. There's a lot of other moving parts around, what time should we start?
Yeah.
And yes, it's a touch late, but there's just other factors around that.
But everything makes it a great weekend. As you said, you can get the later ferry over, you can get a ferry after you finish to get back home, or you can stay the night, chill out Sunday, wake up, have breakfast, spend the day on the island and come back. I think if you're going to do it anywhere, Maggie Island is the one where, as you say, you've got the perfect scenery, you've got the ferries, you've got everything working for you. So the Saturday afternoon for me, I think, isn't a tick in the box.
Yeah, it's certainly, we try and make life as easy. You hop off the ferry, walk to the start line, throw your drop bag in the trailer, run to the pub, grab a beer, back to the ferry, or stay the night on the island, enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.
And the trails are just excellent. So, Maggie Island, we do look forward to that weekend every year.
All right, Maggie Island, May 24. We then move to the 29th of June, Rock and Reef in Bowen. Furthest you'll travel, but what a fantastic group of trails down there. Everybody loves the chance to get to Bowen. Again, have a look around, but get out onto some very different challenges when it comes to trail running.
That's right. A couple of years ago, when we had the opportunity to put the run on in Bowen, everyone was pretty excited great opportunity to run those trails that, not particularly from Townsville or other areas, people hadn't gone and experienced those trails. There is plenty of other regions in North Queensland wanting a trail run. They just don't have a trail for us to
go on.
Bowen, amazing trail. So this Yukonbeam Heights Reserve out there in Horseshoe Bay is amazing trail running. Yes, we had to make up a few extra connections to get those long distances.
Yeah, sure.
But ultimately it works. It is now that with the return of original course on Maggie Island, it's the only event with a co-steering section.
Yeah. Very
unique into trail running, another skill level, certainly a technical ability onto the trail there. It's always a talking point around Bowen, but look, again, great trail, great to get down there, and we get a lot of support from the Bowen, Airlie Beach, Burdekin area, and we enjoy being able to get down there and say, this is in your backyard. A couple of people.
Well, that's pivotal that the locals support it, which they do, and they ultimately come to a lot of the other events as well to participate. So, to all those people in Bowen who get involved, we say thank you. We know that a lot of them help out with marking courses and getting stuff organised and getting that local support, which is great because they're based there, but they just love it. they take some ownership.
Look, I think they realised they certainly knew the place better than I did. And
Yes.
yes, last year they put their hand up. And yes, they do travel up for all those events. So it is great for us to go down and support that and support Bowen for the weekend. So we do look forward to that. Again, the 3 distances that are down there, and trying to keep within the point system.
All right, so that's Bowen, June 29. We then go to Cape Paloranda. Now, this is another ripper one, and it's probably one of the classic events, I think, on the calendar. August 31st, Paloranda is when we do the Paloranda Trail Run. So much to love about that, and it's a course that's been utilised by World Championships. I mean, it's an excellent place to race.
Certainly is, and that middle part of the year in Townsville and North Queensland in general is very busy for outdoor events. So between Bowen and Paloranda, there's a bit of a gap, but there's plenty of other events to fill. So we try and spread things out. Get out there to Paloranda. Again, different trail again to Bowen, different to Maggie Island, different to Alligator Creek. Running Mount Marlow is probably up there with our most technical trail, including up in Paluma. So it's great to have, particularly on a training level, Mount Marlow or Many Peaks Trail, so close to town yet so technical and feels so remote. Great environment out there at Paloranda, and also the other unique part about Paloranda is we introduced the 42k marathon.
Yes, that's right. Very cool.
Every year we get a bunch of crazy runners start in the dark out there at 5:30 in the marathon. And every trail in the Paloranda Trail Network equals 42 kilometres.
Yeah, wow.
So it was really meant to be.
That's remarkable. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they run every trail, a couple of out and backs to get to some aid stations, and certainly a K or so down the beach to the finish line.
Yeah.
But ultimately they cover every trail in the network, makes it 42. The 21 up over Mount Marlow technical section, and then we flow around the mountain bike trail at the end.
Yeah.
The 12k, up over Mount Marlow and then back through the wetlands. Another great section of trail, and they've also got the short distance out there through the Graves Loop as well. So close to town.
Yeah.
Feels remote. Great trails.
But also, just to reiterate how important those trails are, last year we had the World Triathlon Championships here, and the duathlons and the like were out using the off-course, the off-road courses. We're utilising those trails, and athletes from around the world were just raving how good those trails were.
Yeah, look, our 5k course is technically now a World Championship course.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We might put that on the website.
Absolutely. Let's claim it.
The view from the top, the different type of trail, sandy, rocky, single track climb, fast descent, has everything. And sometimes we probably take it a little bit for granted because it's our local, and we know it so well. Yeah. When these people have come from literally far and wide for the World Championships last year, they were certainly blown away. And that's also what helped us secure the World Champs, many
100%.
years ago to say, we've got a great off-road course so close to town.
Yes.
And I think there's definitely more opportunities moving forward out there for off-road events.
Yeah.
But look, we're happy with our trail run out there for this year.
So that's Paloranda, August 31, and then we get to the final official weekend when we head to Paluma. Now, of course, Paluma weekend kicks off with a no points event, but the Paluma Ultra, which is the 25th of October, is just epic. And it was incredible to watch the athletes finish this year. I was there just in time to watch the finish, and again, just an epic event.
Yeah, it's taken us a few years to build an ultra into our calendar.
Yeah.
We needed to get enough locals running, that ultra distance to be able to support the event.
Yes.
We know that we're never going to have a big casting net, across the country or the world for people to travel to an ultra. We just don't have the budget, I suppose, for marketing on that. What we do have is an amazing course to offer.
Can I just say though, word of mouth is a very powerful thing, and again, from everyone who took part last year, just were blown away with the incredible tracks, the run itself. So I think it will grow outside of our area anyway, regardless of a big marketing budget, because of where it is and what it is.
Yeah, look, and natural growth is always good because you can grow with it.
Yeah.
You get 50 runners the first year, you get 60 or 70 the next, you creep up to 100. and you increase the support and the aid stations and the safety around the event.
Yeah.
If you went from 0 to 100 runners and 300 runners, and all of a sudden, you know, you're probably under delivering on some components of the event.
Yeah, I guess.
And so, and particularly that trail up there in the rainforest and the 52K and the remote locations that they go to, it's a real trail runner's trail. There is, you know, it's rough, it's challenging.
Yeah.
You know, we don't just...
But you wouldn't want anything other than that. If you're going to do an ultra, you certainly don't want to go out and be pampered the whole way. You want to know that you've done an ultra, I think.
You do. But often events put on courses and build in sections just to get the distance up.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
You know, and there's a long section of road, or, you know, we'll just send them down there and that'll get us 10Ks. And I never wanted to deliver a type of event that was just to put on a 50K.
Yeah.
You know, it took me quite a long time to connect, you know, a great section here and a great section here, but how do we link those together without, you know, it's hard because you can't be all on single track in the rainforest. It would be too hard.
Yes.
Yet you don't want too much of it out there on exposed running dirt roads because, well, I don't believe, you know, that's what we're chasing. You want the journey to be great. So, you know, we're crossing creeks, we're chasing waterfalls, we're going past 1,000-year-old trees, you know.
Just love it.
Running in World Heritage rainforest, and it changes consistently throughout the 50Ks. And then before you know it, you know, you're running back towards the finish line, you're almost home. So, again, Paluma, you know, it's our backyard. We love running up there, and we appreciate the support from everyone who's done the ultra. And if you're looking to step up, you know, it's again when it comes back to how hard is it, you know, compared to say a 21K, it's just 50. It's certainly a tough 50.
Yeah.
It's technical, but it's time on the feet, and you can see the results. And you know, last year we had some amazing competitors at the front. So maybe don't just quite look at the front of the field, but the majority of the field are somewhere between 6 and 7 hours.
And the incredible thing to see the looks on people's faces as they cross the finish line, because they know they've met their challenge to do an ultra in the rainforest and to complete that.
They got that what they were looking for.
100%. And of course, that leads us in to the Sunday, which is the Paluma Village Trail Run. And again, last year, record numbers of people driving up the range to get to Paluma. It was spectacular to see all the cars, all the people arrive to be a part of the final event in the Trail Series.
Yes, Minty. So 2 things before we go too far. One, we are considering and we are looking at our options to build the ultra into the point system for the series.
Gotcha, okay.
Now, it's a very technical and well above my pay grade within the point system and the registration.
So I'm looking into the office now, and the brains trust are in there crunching the numbers.
Yep. So look, shoot the messenger, but it's probably not going to happen this year, but it is something we want to build into it. But as we grow the ultra, we also pull it away from the series.
Yes.
So this is a little bit of a push and a pull. We want to support our series runners, but we also want to grow the ultra. And by having them on the same weekend, it obviously helps from a business perspective. We all
infrastructure makes it up.
Set up
to be able to do that 2 weekends apart. The whole idea that you can run it on that weekend is great, but that's where you've got to work that out as a business and work out what's best for each of those events, right?
That's right. And so look, we're very happy with how last year went. We would often say that the Paluma Push is the biggest weekend in Paluma. But I tell you, after the amount of people that turned up for the trail run last year, Paluma certainly has 2 busy weekends of the year.
And again, the multiple distances on the Sunday.
That's right. So you could argue and say that the Paluma run is the hardest because it has a very technical component in running the rainforest trails.
Sure.
The 10 and the 20 in particular also have definitely the hardest climb in elevation, a 400 vertical meter climb out of the Star Valley down there in the creek.
Yep.
And we turn around and we run back up the hill. Every year everyone hates it. Every year they sign back up, and you know it's
and more people do.
And more people do. So look, we don't hide it. It's there. It's certainly on the website in the elevation graph, and you can see it in there.
Yeah.
But running through the rainforest, under the thick canopy, in the cool air, the creeks are still flowing. You know, by October, Townsville's getting dry.
Yes.
You know, our trails are getting rough. Not in Paluma.
So that one wraps up the series. The 25th of October, Paluma Ultra. Now, I want to bring in another event, not part of the series, but it's part of the overall Outer Limits trail running throughout 2025. You're going to put on a night event, Mount Louisa, Saturday the 19th of July. Why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, Minty, look, don't tell anyone. We are going to introduce a night run this year. We thought it was about time. For people who often train early and late, you've got to get a headlight out anyway, particularly running 100%. On the trails. And night running it's great. It's different.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And so Saturday night, we're going to earn a drink, going to earn your dinner.
Yeah.
So once it's dark, we'll be running. And the Mount Louisa trails have been there for a few years now.
Yeah. Nicely settled in.
Nicely settled in, but I've been struggling to find the hub.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, unfortunately, when they developed the trails, they weren't thinking about a trail running race.
Yeah, correct.
And I have now made some connections. We've got some great support, and I've got a little bit of work to do, but it's too early to tell how it's all going to work. But I'm going to say is we're going to be running Mount Louisa in the dark, and it's going to be bloody exciting.
How good is that? So lock that date in, Saturday the 19th of July. Will we start to see information on the website of that soon?
Yep. Look, we're kind of still in holiday mode, I think, from Christmas, but it will be up there as soon as we can get it there. We're just waiting on a few permissions and permits and waiting on some people to come actually back from their holidays.
That's exciting.
And we'll lock that away, but there'll be 2 distances and throwing a night run into the mix. It also keeps, because I said there's a little bit of a lull in our trail run between Bowen and Pallaranda.
Yeah, of course.
Because we don't want to have another major day event trail when we've got the running festival, the tri festival, and so many other things.
But this is nice way to cover that gap off a little.
That's right.
Yeah.
We thought sneak a little night run in there. Doesn't take up your weekend. Just a couple of hours at night. Slightly shorter distances. Keeps the legs turning over. Keeps people motivated for trail running.
Yep.
And throwing a different element in there being in the dark.
That is super exciting. All right. Well, hopefully there's a few people that have stuck with us through to the end. So a fantastic calendar is coming up. All of that information, all of your registrations, get on the website.
That's right. Registrations have been coming in since over Christmas. People have been getting on there, and you can see, they jump on. A lot of people have registered for all 6. It's their New Year's resolution. I'm going to lock in. I want to do all 6 of those events. And look, my advice is, it comes down to consistency in the training.
Yes.
And the type of training, so that you've got to be out on the trails, up and down the hills. And training in, a lot of people ask me, the difference between a road shoe and a trail shoe.
Gotcha.
Our trails are real trail running trails. So, is a road shoe okay? Look, it's going to get you by, but is a trail shoe much better grip, much better support? Is it going to last longer in training?
Yeah.
Is it going to be better when I'm crossing the creeks out at Alligator Creek? Most definitely.
Yeah.
Our friends over at Intersport, great supporters of the series over the years, have got a good range of trail running shoes, and now it's not hard to get your hands on some trail running shoes.
Yep.
And the other one is those vests, and they've come a long way from the old camelbacks that used to swing around and bounce along behind you to a well-fitted, almost don't even know that it's there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people obviously, been jumping on that bandwagon so that they've got their nutrition and their
hydration
mandatory gear with them, which is something that then you can tell we're turned up, we're looking the goods, and you're well prepared. That there is 50% of a successful day out on the trail.
Absolutely, because halfway through a trail run and you don't have the right nutrition or hydration or even the right shoes, you're going to know about it, and chances are the rest of it is not going to be fun.
That's right, and I think at the end of the day, the goal is to have a result based on your fitness level, not on your excuses of I slipped or I
100%.
didn't have enough of this or one or the other.
Yeah.
And so if you can prepare well for each distance, particularly those longer ones, and most of the courses, are open, and there is, our friends at Hungry Runners do try and get out onto some of those courses and do a pre-run, jump on the bandwagon and support that as well, so that you are well prepared. And over the years, back in the day when we first started, people were finding their way, I suppose, and often getting it wrong. And now we're turning up and delivering, and we can see in the results that people are just getting faster, more efficient. I could say is probably the better word at competing, and we're bringing more people into trail running and educating them on how to do it really well.
And I think the other thing is the resources are there on the website as well. There are detailed athlete guides for every single one of the events that gives you so much information about the course, your gear, everything that you need. We also do a pre-event video that we put up on the socials prior to each of the events, just reiterating all of the things you need to know about your timings and your registrations and your sign-ins, everything that is going to make it a successful event for you. So everything is there. Get on the website, get registered, and don't leave it to the last minute too, because as we said last year, we did sell out almost all of the events. So you don't want to miss out because it's sold out before you go, oh, I wanted to do that event.
That's right. Get yourself prepared. Regos, jump on the website and register. Get out there, lace up the boots and do some training. And we look forward to seeing everyone out on the trails.
Well, now that we've done that, we've got such a great location. It's probably time for a nice cold lemonade for us. Thanks for joining us.
We're going to start training Minty today.
We'll do that tomorrow. We'll train tomorrow. We'll have a lemonade or two right now. Sam, thanks, mate. Looking forward to another fantastic year. I'm super pumped to be on the microphone again, calling your name out as you cross that finish line, getting your smile on, jumping across, getting photo ready, and knowing that you've achieved something that is perfect for you. Thanks for joining us today. Outer Limits Trail Run Series 2025 is going to be fantastic. We'll see you out in the trails.